Hi everybody! Today I'm going to be talking about LGBTQ representation in the media, and more importantly the underrepresentation of LGBTQ in the media and how it affects people, how seeing this underrepresentation affects them, and how more representation would be important. Representation is extremely important because it makes you feel like you yourself are important and that you're in the in group and that you're not different from others as people might say. We're all unique in our own way, but we don't want to feel so different that we think that others are gonna make fun of us or exclude us. That's what a lot of times happens in the LGBTQ community because there's such a lack of representation that especially kids would be bullied for it. Parents frown upon it. They see it as something that is bad for their children or abnormal, and it makes you feel like an outcast. I asked some people on my TikTok if they would give me their responses on why they think that representation in the community is important and their own personal experiences with it. So I'm going to read you a few of those. The first person said, I found that my experience with it is that we're not fully represented, and if we are, it's this giant thing. A big problem in movie companies, production companies, is queer baiting. And this is where they make out a promise of having an LGBTQ character in their movie to get more revenue and more views for their movies. But it turns out that there wasn't really a character that was in the community, or they didn't play a big role in it, or the movie didn't outright say in the storyline that they were LGBTQ+. Back to the response. I don't know about others, but myself and my other friends kind of just wish we were seen as normal instead of people making a huge deal of a character being gay or trans or whatever it is. There's a lot of representation with other sides of the community. I myself is pansexual, and I've yet to find someone like me or seen me represented in the media. So when I try to explain myself, a lot of people say that I'm just making it up or don't take it seriously. This is also an important thing. People need to be educated on these things. When you tell someone and open up to someone about your sexuality and they laugh at you and tell you that you made it up and that's not real, it makes you feel like others don't respect you. It's important to be educated on this stuff because when somebody opens up to you and says something that may be difficult for them, like their sexuality, and you make fun of them and you tell them that what they're saying isn't true, that couldn't be real, I've never heard of it before, it makes them feel invalid, and it makes it seem like you don't have any respect for them, and it makes them feel like nobody else has any respect for them, and it puts them in a really tough position. All in all, I love the representation we've had in the past few years, and I'm sure that others will agree that we just want to be seen as normal, just like everybody does. Nobody wants to be seen as, that group of people. They just want to be seen like everybody else, and they are like everybody else. We're all the same on the inside. Just because somebody likes something different from you doesn't mean that it's not okay. We all have different hobbies, different likes, different dislikes, and this could span to many things. So why do we cut the line at sexuality? Another person said, Hi, I wanted to message you about your project. As part of the LGBT, I feel like representation is important as it normalizes LGBT relationships and genders. When there's straight representation in the media, nobody bats an eye. Adding LGBT representation shows that it's not something to be ashamed of, and it's just the same as straight representation. At a young age, even in children's shows, you see boy has a crush on girl, girl has a crush on boy. You never see anything else. And this makes you feel like that's the norm. Like anything else isn't acceptable because you never see it. Nobody ever touches on it. When you start feeling those feelings, like maybe you have a homosexuality feeling, maybe you're a man and you feel like you are a girl stuck in a man's body, and you don't ever see anybody touched on that, it makes you feel like you need to internalize it and keep it to yourself when it shouldn't be that way. It needs to be taught in school, and there needs to be education on it so people know that this is normal feelings. They're not alone. It doesn't make them abnormal. Everybody's unique and beautiful the way that they are. It doesn't matter what their likes and dislikes are. These are not feelings that should be discredited. These aren't feelings that others should look down on you for. You shouldn't bully others for these things because it's not something that they can help. It's not like switching a light bulb. It's not that you choose to be this way. Another person said the media should be in charge of teaching not just the younger ones but the adults about the LGBTQ community. I'm lesbian and I've struggled with internalized homophobia and just simple misunderstandings because the media didn't teach me that I could be attracted to girls, and the media didn't teach me it was something normal. Normalizing and bringing LGBTQ representation would also have many benefits, showing children that it's okay to be who they are and letting them have what we couldn't is one of the main things we want. They are our future, and normalizing this kind of stuff will stop their generation to go through all the hate crime the minority has gone through. LGBTQ representation is an important issue that we need to fight for. This really opens your eyes when you see that something you identify as is something that when you were younger you came to hate just because everybody around you told you that that was the right thing to do, and that if you're a girl and you like another girl, that isn't right. So you feel these emotions and you see, oh, well, I'm attracted to girls, but I'm not supposed to feel this way. So you start getting hate for yourself and hate for others in those community that may be like you because you don't understand it. Nobody ever talks about it. This really leads to a lot of things. Like in one research, they found that bisexuality in the media is usually represented negatively, and this could lead to issues such as depression and anxiety and maybe even suicide. And these are things that we can prevent if we just show people that what they're feeling is normal, that this isn't an abnormal thing, and that it's okay to be who you are. Then this would bring down a lot of these negative emotions that people are feeling because they're trying to hide themselves, trying to not be who they are because they think that it's wrong. Another person said that representation of all kinds is super important because it's a reflection of real life, and people, especially very young children, find validation in being able to identify and relate to things. The LGBTQ plus community is huge and they're everywhere. It's crucial that they be represented in the media. People watching will feel valid, a major issue in the community, then it overall will do a lot to spread awareness of the issue in the community, as well as motivate those who aren't LGBTQ+ to be more tolerant and accepting. They did a study at one country where LGBTQ is really frowned upon religiously, and if you're found out to be LGBTQ+, it's a really big thing. Like, you could be killed for it, you could be tried for it. And they had a bunch of students watch a movie on LGBTQ struggles, and it was about a gay character and a straight character, and they come together and they go to the Pride Parade in that country, and they found that after watching this movie, a lot of people became more empathetic and supportive of the community. So even after just one viewing of seeing this, it could help people become more supportive of the community, see that it's not something that should be frowned upon, see that it's something that you should support and love one another for their own unique individualities. I'm a cishet man, which means that he is cisgendered and heterosexual, but I do understand the importance of the representation in the media. When I was a kid, I used to watch Power Rangers, and there was one ranger who had brown skin and black hair like me, and I felt like I could identify with him and felt like I could be a hero. I'm certain that this is the same for LGBTQ people. The same thing applies whether it's race or orientation, sexual orientation, or ethnicity or cultural reasons. When you see someone who looks like you, who has the same ideals as you, who likes the same things as you, when you see that represented in the media and they're in a position like a superhero or a doctor, it could be whatever, and it's something that you also admire. It makes you feel empowered to do that and inspires you to do things that maybe you didn't think that you could do before. And it's really special that we help these kids see that it doesn't matter who they are, what they identify as. They can do what they put their mind to. Another study found that while LGBTQ representation is increasing, it's still one-dimensional, stereotypical, and it ignores many of the subgroups. Like the person that responded before, they said they were pansexual, and a lot of their friends had never even heard of it. A lot of people were telling them they made it up because they'd never heard of it. It's very important for the media to have these representations so it can educate people on what these things are, and so people don't feel like what they're feeling is a made-up thing. And so they have that respect from others when they see that, oh yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Thank you for telling me that and trusting me enough to tell me your story. As we saw in the other research, that stereotypes can affect many people, and usually it's in negative ways. When they see these stereotypes, they feel down about themselves. It strips them of their individuality. It could be a sense of, oh, I am being represented in the media, but it's all those people and they all act the exact same, and they're all acting negatively towards the community. And I don't relate with this at all. This isn't how everybody in the community is, and it makes you feel down about yourself and have negative feelings. It can lead to prejudice in others against the community because they think that, oh, well, this is what I see in the media all the time with this community, so they all must be like that. And it could lead to prejudice and discrimination against the group because they don't agree with certain ideals that they saw the character portraying in a certain movie. The last response that I got is my favorite because it goes so in depth and it really covers everything that I've talked about. Hey, I'm replying to your video from TikTok about the LGBTQ+ representation in the media. The media has a lot of impact on the way many people view the world, and I think having a proper representation of the LGBTQ+ community can help us feel more accepted and valid in society. It would make it more socially accepted and help it become normal, seeing as right now we live in a fairly heteronormative world. And this means, like, as in terms of movie production and TV show production, it's very heteronormative, which means that it focuses primarily on straight people and straight characters. It feeds into the idea that you're straight until proven otherwise. It shouldn't be how it should be. We should be able to learn and grow as we get older and figure out on our own what our sexuality is. It shouldn't be something that we're told at a young age, oh, you're straight, until you start having feelings that you may be homosexual or pansexual. It's what's seen as normal, so it's what makes so many people feel like their feelings are wrong and they shouldn't be feeling these feelings. Okay, back to the response. I also feel it would help decrease suicide rates due to less depressed teens that feel alone and unaccepted due to oppression and bullying. It would help bring everyone together as a society and help people see that we're human just like them. We love and get hurt like them. We have good days and bad. Everyone deserves happiness and love, and I feel the media can have a big impact on the future for LGBTQ community. It means so much more to us than people think. Like one of the research articles that I mentioned previously, these stigmas that people have can lead to depression and anxiety and suicide. And if people feel accepted more, and if people see that they're not alone, if they see more representation in the media, that there are others like them, and it's not abnormal for them to feel what they're feeling. It'll help them feel more included and involved and not like they're abnormal. The same with people that are in the community. When they see this representation more, they're not going to think that it's something weird or something abnormal. They're going to see it and know that it's something that anybody can feel, and it's okay if they feel that way. And it could lead to more acceptance of people outside the community, seeing that, oh, well, it's okay if someone doesn't like the same sex. It's okay if someone feels different than me. People feel different ways. Just because I feel one way doesn't mean another person has to feel the exact same. We're all unique in different ways. That's what's so great about us. We're individuals. We have so much diversity, and we need to embrace that diversity and allow people to love who they want and like what they want. And we just need to accept that and make people feel loved. When we have love in our hearts, things go so much easier, things are so much better, people are happier. It's the hate and the negativity that bring down people and make the world seem gloomy and like we're alone, and that's what we need to try to stop and what we need to try to fight. So we need to educate people on these issues, and I think that when we have love in our heart for everybody and we accept everybody for who they are, then that will be a truly happy world, and that we'll all be truly happy when that day comes. If it comes or not, I can't say, but I really hope it does, and the only way that it can happen is if we all work together, we all help each other be informed on these topics. Thank you for watching. Remember, love is love.